seconds here now.
4,
3, 2, 1.
one.
Slightly push in and SJQ.
Hello, good morning. This is Sunrise at 7 o'clock. Our top story, breaking news. 8 people have died in a fire in the centre of Paris.
On the
The
OVO.
French fire service say a further 28 people have been injured in the blaze. A woman has been arrested as investigators examine a possible criminal act.
Mix and Q on.
Also this morning, Sky News
Full
speaks
sound
to
next.
British and Irish citizens imprisoned in Syria accused of fighting for Islamic State.
Okay, full sound.
8 seconds. I need it most. I need it.
When I need it most of the outwards here.
4, 3.
3, 2, 1.
Most.
Mix SJQ.
Theresa May
Neil
has
picks
to
up here.
Belfast
Neil on
saying
3 here,
she
everyone.
can
Yeah.
find a Brexit deal which the majority of MPs will support.
And Neil, Cup Q.
Also ahead on Sunrise this hour, as
Read
Sky
on.
News marks 30 years on air. We examine the challenges facing mainstream media in an evolving digital world.
And Mix and Q on.
In sports, more frustration for Jurgen Klopp as Liverpool drop points in their Premier League title bid once again.
And Mix. Thank you.
And at quarter 2, we'll be
SJ, you're
taking another
next.
look through the papers
Bring into
with
the VT
campaign's
here.
manager of the
Stand by, you
Taxpayers
pull up
Alliance,
on
Chloe
4.
Wesley, and the journalist Andy Walton.
Here comes the Stinky. Stand by, Paul. 3, 2, 1. SJQ.
Hello, good morning. You're watching Sunrise here on Sky News. I'm Sarah Jane Mee.
And
We
start your
begin
pull out
with
full.
breaking news from Paris, where 8 people have died and at least 28 others have been
Steady
injured
there.
in a fire which broke out in a
You can
residential
spin
block.
3 now for me, Claire.
The French
Inzi,
fire
yeah.
service says the fire is now being investigated as a possible.
So
criminal
Inzi in here,
act.
Lady
Woman
Sarah,
has
yeah.
been arrested.
VT
As
first.
the blaze took hold, firefighters risked their lives using ladders to rescue people still trapped inside. Sky's Inzamam Rashid has the latest.
And on the VT. It's just a minute VT here. Inzi comes in.
The scene of a fatal blaze in one of the most trying
Lindsay, just a
districts
quick
of
type minute off the back of this, please.
In the
do
early
you know
hours
if
of
you
this
have a
morning,
performance?
residents hang out of their windows, waiting to be saved.
So I just floated.
Yeah, just float them out for me.
Which has spread across multiple
Key is 3. Thank you.
apartment blocks,
You got that over
has
here.
already claimed lives
Yeah.
and left dozens injured. Around 200 firefighters in Western Paris scrambled to rescue those trapped inside. Many residents fled to the roof for safety.
30 seconds.
So Inzi, as per last hour, you'll do your little quick hit with SJ, and then when you're framed out, you just step away, yeah? Lovely stuff, thanks, mate.
It's
about 20 to you now.
Emergency services cordoned off most of the area.
Lady Sarah, you got him, yeah? For his leaving
10
set.
seconds.
10 seconds, yeah.
8,
To tackle the
7,
blaze and search for other victims.
Coming out to camera 4 is a 2 shot here.
Working to
3,
establish
And in 3, 2,
Inzamam Rashid,
1.
Sky News.
And Mix, SJ.
Inzamam is here in the studio now. Can you tell us more, Inzamam?
And 3 cut. Super that man.
Actually, Sarah Jane, that death toll rise to 8 people now, and obviously there's fears across Paris from the authorities that that could rise even further. Just looking at what's coming out of Paris, they've told us there that Remy Heights, he's a Paris prosecutor, he said that investigators were favouring a criminal cause for this blaze to the 8-storey apartment block, and Heights told reporters there that a woman had been placed in custody as part of the investigation into the blaze. So obviously an ongoing investigation there is
Back
moving
out to
quite
4
rapidly
next.
in Paris.
Okay, Inzamam, thank you very much.
And
Inzamam will keep you
cut 4.
updated
In we go 4.
on details throughout the morning with regard to that situation.
Push in
in
past
Paris.
him.
Also this morning, Sky News has been given rare
Thanks, Lindsay.
access to British and Irish citizens imprisoned in eastern Syria accused of fighting for Islamic State. Well, none of the 3 men have been seen or heard on British TV since they were arrested by the US-led coalition forces. 2 of them are British, one a pharmacist, the other an NHS doctor. The third is an Irish citizen who encouraged his wife and child to join him in IS-held territory.
Graphic
All
in the
3
wall next.
now want their governments to intervene and bring them home. Well, they are some of more than 800 male foreign fighters from more than 40 countries detained as the extremists retreat. At least 5 of those held are from Britain. Our special correspondent Alex Crawford, cameraman Kevin Shepherd and producers Kenny Stewart and Vera Van Vigero are in
VT
Deir
next.
al-Zur in eastern Syria, and they sent us this exclusive report.
And we're on the VT. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. So spin over for me.
Who lived there
My
for
hand
more
at the
than
desk?
20 years.
Yes.
Kamal there?
4 spin over
Yeah.
the top for me.
Accused of being Islamic State fighters. who now
Gallery
declare
Millbank. Oh no, ignore me.
This is the.
I was just chasing up tomorrow. She's just sat in.
She's sitting.
I mean, I'm spoilt with two of you.
Very happy, Sam.
Right.
Actually, guys, we've got 2.5 minutes. Can we swap, please? Yeah, please. So, Paul, on the jib, if you can go in a 2-shot right for me.
Good
And then we'll
morning,
do a
Kamala.
pull-out.
It's Natasha here in the gallery. Hello, can you hear me? And you can hear the program. No problem. I'll pass you to Mike.
Yeah, tomorrow's there, yeah.
Hello, Tamara. We're just going to have
Just come a bit flat on there for me, Paul, just down around to the right.
How are we going to do this?
Just,
You're going to do the buzz and then
So
we'll do
there's
it
2 minutes
again.
left on the DT. You'll be speaking to Gamal, same drill as last time.
Oh, right. Okay, hang on.
Sorry?
She has this.
Yeah, she's got a quote. Yeah, she knows about that. And you've got the quote
I'll put that to
again.
you, actually, about the app.
Lovely.
So we've had a couple of tweets. People are saying, I'm out and about today between 7 and 5. How can I watch? So it's on the web and on the app.
so, SJ, I'll come out to the jib here.
Yeah, try it first. You're gonna,
I'll come out to the jib here. It's just a shot of you and Neil.
yeah.
And then, as Neil decides he's going to leave, the jib will pull out. Okay?
And I'm not following Neil.
Richard, it's Mike.
No. Everyone disappeared. No, so you'll pull out and reveal Gamal. So Gamal, just sit back from me, yeah? Just sit back normally, thanks. And then Gamal, you'll be on 3, taking us into tomorrow, okay, yeah? Yep, good man.
Sorry, 43. You have 2 straps. You happy with these 2 straps?
That's fine. Yeah. Just take 40. Just take. Oh, good lord.
When you get a chance, can you also put BP on the yellow?
I'm taking that one out.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I didn't fight, I didn't eat.
Yes, it's fine. 41's fine.
Eat the grass.
I'm in the 7 o'clock running order and I can't see it.
What, story 41?
The worry now is in the dying days of the battle against IS, his Kurdish captors may lose territory to either Turkey or the Syrian.
There's a hand to Neil, but Neil's going to take it
Neil's
away, and
gonna
then
go freestyle.
he's going to freestyle it, and then Gamal will pick up.
I'm operating with Sky News Raw and Sky News Sunrise.
Right, 20 seconds now, guys. Stand by.
Military fight against IS may be all but over.
15.
Right, here we come, guys. 10 seconds now. To 4. Hands back, Gamal, for me, and cut. SJ.
You can find more on Alex Crawford's exclusive report on our website, skynews.com. Speaking of our website, something very exciting is happening on there today. It's also happening on a special TV channel and on our app as well. Neil has joined us in the studio to tell us more about it. Today is the launch of Sky News Raw. We are turning 30.
30 years today, Sky News was launched. Can you think of it? I've spent 15 years in this news organisation, so half of Sky's lifetime I've been here
Pictures are on
for.
Twitter. He looks like something from a boy band.
Not an especially good one. So what we wanted to do today was try and take you behind the scenes, let you see how we put together a day of news. We've got cameras in here in the studio. We'll have them in the glass box. We've got them in our Westminster office. We've got them in Washington. We've got them all around the newsroom. We will be showing you how the news is made, and all of us applying a little bit of a filter to the general banter that usually goes on in a newsroom.
Yeah, Neil's swear jar is now under the desk. We're going to be in the newsroom, going to be in the gallery. Where can people watch?
You can watch on channel 523, where you'll still be able to watch what's going on the channel. It'll be picture-in-picture. Many of you will be doing that already. You can find it through skynews.com/raw, or if you simply go to the app, there's a very, very handy button that says Watch Behind the Scenes Live.
Yeah.
I'm afraid
And if we were behind the scenes, I'd say to you, your earpiece has just come out. You need to tuck it back
well,
in. See, that's the beauty of live TV.
No, this is the good thing, is that I get to go now, and I don't get to
That we
listen.
come on for.
okay.
That we come on for.
Shall I just leave you guys
Yeah,
to
see
it?
you
So
later.
you can keep watching here if you want to watch the news. If you want to watch Sky News Rock 523,
Up you get, Neil. Off
or
you go.
alternatively, you can go through the app. Back
Keep
and
coming
go.
back, Paul.
Yeah, Neil will be on channel 523 today if you want to follow Neil and find out what's going on behind the scenes at
Enjoy
Sky
Neil
News
back
today.
in.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
very
Cheers.
busy day, and I'll be taking part in a Twitter question and answer session at 10:45 today. So if you've got any questions about what happens behind the scenes here at Sky News, let me know. #AskSkyNews. Gamal, should we do some actual work now?
I think that's best.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Brexit. Theresa May heading
Here
to
we come
Belfast
tomorrow.
later on.
Yeah,
So
that's
sorry.
right, sorry, Jane. The Prime Minister will say the UK's political turmoil is concerning, but she can still get a deal that works for everyone. Minister. And Tamara, what's she trying to achieve by being in Belfast today?
Theresa May's plan is to reassure people and businesses and politicians in Northern
And we can
Ireland.
go for it. Fantastic. So welcome to Sky News Raw. I mean, I don't know if we can see this little appropriately and handily placed sign. For one day only here at Sky News, everybody is welcome. Now, as we were just saying on the channel proper there, the whole point of today is to try and take you behind the scenes, behind the process itself. To that end, we have got, in fact, I got the numbers wrong there. We did originally have 32 cameras. We're now, I think, at around about 37 or 38 other bits will be brought in, and they're dotted around the entire organisation. Just so you know where we are at the moment, that is the studio where Sunrise comes from, and indeed our bulletins from midnight to 6. We call it downstairs studio. This rather Scooby-Doo-ish corridor here runs the full length of the floor in which the studio is based here in Sky Studios, just in there. That's the gallery for Sky Sports News. They tend to try to keep us away from those. Just watching out that Murch, my cameraman, doesn't get clobbered by the door here. So we will be dipping in to various parts of the newsroom, from the newsroom itself, the home desk, the foreign desk, at the edit corridor where the edited reports get put together. We'll be speaking to correspondents, we'll be speaking to the technical staff, we'll be speaking to Sky News Radio, all to try and paint a picture of what goes on here. Just to think about it for a second, as I was saying, on the telly proper, I've been at Sky for 15 years. I've filled a number of roles. Political correspondent, news assistant, in fact, was my first job down in Westminster, defence correspondent, media technology. I spent some time in Scotland. Then I made the jump over to presenting. In the course of the 15 years that I've been at Sky, frankly, the changes to the way in which we work have been mind-blowing. From back when we started in 1989, I mean, Adam Bolton tells this story regularly. The one thing that everyone remembers from back in 1989, when Sky was, of course, just the second rolling news channel in the world, the first being CNN. You know, the one thing that people remember from back then, it's not the fantastic professionalism, but the big holes in the floor. Things have come a long way since then. Now, this is going to be my home for the day. At the gallery in which the Formula One coverage is usually anchored from, Sky News Raw, no entry. Entry. Come on, follow me, we'll take you in. Thanks, Alice. Now, this is the power base for my operations today. And you come much, and if we just squeeze round here, you can see why I am so terribly excited. Look at the power that I have today. Look at the colleagues that I have on a number of different screens. In essence, this is kind of a carbon copy of a gallery that we would use to transmit the news proper. We've got director, vision, mixer, and sound, and all the rest in the same place. But let's just show you why this is our base of operations today. And as you were saying earlier on, you'll be able to watch on this channel the news going on and what we are doing. But this is where all the fun happens. Those cameras that we were talking about, this is where we've just come from. Studio 6, these are the two cameras that we've installed in there, which you can see. Jibber operator and Gamal and SJ busy preparing for the next item as we're on an edited piece. We've got cameras dotted everywhere else around, radio production and so on. We'll be dipping into them throughout the day. But of course, the kind of this heart of any news organisation, at Sky, anywhere else, is the newsroom. That's where the majority of staff in this building are located. So why don't we dip into that and see what's going on as we start the day here on Sky News Raw.
Take one full frame.
And away we go. Well, this is the the heart of the newsroom, as you can see there. What you're looking at currently, in fact, is the home desk, which for much of our coverage is the base of operations. Mike Bradley, Paul Harrison running the show there. Big part of every day, of course, finding out what's going on. We do that in a variety of ways. Newspapers still a huge part of what we do. Every morning, in fact, I come in and work on Sunrise. The first half an hour, 45 minutes of the day is spent picking through the papers, working out where we want to go. Now, the home desk, of course, involved editorially, but also they sort out where people go, from correspondence, crews, satellite trucks. I mean, we will be touching on this throughout the day, but the way in which we actually do our job has been made so much easier by technology. There have been, I don't know, teething problems along the way. But these days, ultimately, you can broadcast from somewhere if you've got a 4G signal and access to a phone.
I heard it on the radio this morning, actually.
I don't know what time, but I just think it would be good, especially when she's up and running, that we've got the ability to be live from Caracas and live from the border. Security
when does she actually arrive?
Late, so it's more
In essence, what you're seeing a lot of at this time of the day are kind of pre-meetings. We've got a big first morning meeting of the day at 7:30. There on the right of your screen, you see Caro. She is our head of foreign news. Speaking to those on the desk to try and work out the stories that they want to take into the morning meeting, the stories that obviously they'll be keeping an eye on. Clearly, a lot of work for the foreign desk today will be focused on events in Paris, and we'll try to keep you updated as the information starts to trickle into us through our correspondence, through the wire services, and through their kind of television wings. That's sometimes how we get our picture for the foreign stories.
I think he's talking about the possibility of Renee, the UK Renee Pakistan.
I'm going to ring.
And there's Manpreet, who works on the Sunrise programme with me, one of our excellent Sunrise staff. You're never going to hear me saying that it's anything other than the best team at Sky News, which of course it is. And Richard Brock there as well, also working. We'll be seeing Richard in just a second. There he is. I mean, this is one of the things I find more often than not with people that know that I work in television, friends or kind of acquaintances, is it's difficult to grasp just how many people actually work on the programme beyond the ones that you see. Presenters, correspondents, of course, incredibly important to any organisation, but it's people like this lady here, Sam Foster, who really are the backbone of the organisation, who are writing scripts, who are sourcing stories, who are planning, who are taking the news channel to where it needs to be and making sure that the presenters don't look silly when they're on air as well. These are our staff on the radio desk here. 17 staff working at Sky News full-time on the radio desk. We started back in 1999. Actually, I can almost remember when that happened. They were serving a number of big radio clients. Then we won the contract to supply the Independent Radio News, or IRN contract as it's now known. Our listening figures, well, I mean, there are around 300 commercial radio stations in the United Kingdom which take in part or in full their news from Sky. But another huge part of our organisation these days is, of course, our online presence. And that has changed a huge amount since I first started. I remember, I don't know, around about 2005, I was speaking to a senior member of our team who was told that they had to start writing this newfangled thing called a blog. That didn't sit particularly well with them. But now it's as much a part of our job as anything else. The number of the amount of reach that we have, well, you can see it on the screen there. Just on mobile, 10 million people every week. The website itself is an average of around about 25 million uniques every month as well. And as we continue our tour around the Shires, let's take you to my old stomping ground, Millbank. And there on the left of your screen, you can see Claire Parry, who has worked at Westminster almost as long as, well, she's worked at Westminster, I think, for coming on for 15, 20 years now. Now, of course, we asked all our staff to fill in interesting facts about their jobs. Claire Parry pointed out that the best part of her life at Sky was working with me on the news desk at Sky News Westminster, back when I had long wax-tipped hair, according to Claire Parry. I'm not entirely sure that I remember that. And there on screen, the big man himself, Adam Bolton, my mentor, who clearly doesn't recognise that he's on telly at the moment.
Okay.
He might just have had the wink.
Camel's fallen down.
But yeah, the Westminster office operates out of 4 Millbank. It's, in essence, just opposite the Houses of Parliament. You need to have an office there close by. And this is NOC, the News Operations Centre. This is, in essence, where all of the video comes in, out. These are the guys who, when your kit fails, as happened to me once when we were, I think it was the Marines in Afghanistan on one of their earlier Herrick missions. Our kit went down. We had been filming for a week and a half, couldn't get anything back. Got our satellite phone out, phoned back into NOC, who then remotely accessed our laptop, managed to get the pictures back in.
Basically, I have never used the tech before, unfortunately.
And I didn't get an absolute shoeing from my bosses for being away for so long without getting any material on here. No, NOC really is at the heart of the operation. But again, given that everything is digital, remembering where we started, when I first started at Sky, it was a much smaller studio. But in terms of the technical side, everything was running off digital tape. Betacart was the heart of the operation there, which was in essence a massive tape player. Now everything is stored on a server, which, you know, has its advantages and occasionally has its problems. But just look at the number of inputs that you can have coming into operations there.
Yeah, so we'll just wait to see.
Read on.
And there's Stu, the director, there in the gallery.
They're working to prevent people from taking their own lives, and they estimate that every death costs £1.67 million.
The bottom left of your screen, there is Mike Kumar, the output editor for Sunrise. In essence, you know, in the gallery, perhaps the two most important people there are on screen right now, the director and the producer of the gallery prod. Mike is technically my boss, so I will be nice.
By highlighting places where suicide is most likely.
And white boxes.
Now let's speak now to Jackie Doyle Price.
Well, hopefully now you're getting an idea of the scale of this organisation. We will, of course, be focusing to an extent on television. That is at the heart of what we do. But everything these days is about being multi-platform. Indeed, is about tailoring, you know, the content, some people, you know, the news, as I like to call it, to the delivery method. Now, you wouldn't give your paperboy a VHS to take round to newspaper. So we, in much the same way, we try and make the news fit the way in which it's broadcast. At the moment, I'm involved in a series which is largely on Snapchat and on YouTube called Divided, which is a very different feel. Very different feel to the rest of the channel. Now, throughout the day, we are going to be speaking to key players at Sky News, well, those that have described themselves in the notes they've given me as key players at Sky News. Ashish Joshi will be having a chat with a couple of them ahead of what's probably the big set-piece event of this time of the day, the morning meeting, which still takes place at 7:30 these days, I think. This shows how rarely I get to go along to them these days, but that is, in essence, where the big stories of the day, home forum, will be discussed and resources allocated.
Clearly, that rise in teen suicide is something that's very concerning. We could all have
about 2.5 left here.
I have no doubt at all.
Well, you just heard Mike passing on to Sarah Jane there just how much time is left on the interview. I mean, it's very important to know exactly where you are because, of course, we have a finite amount of time. You know, 24 hours a day sounds like an awful lot, but when you factor in the fact, you know, Sunrise lasts from 6 till 9, and there is a lot of news some days to get through. You've got to prioritise it. And generally, on a show like Sunrise, we don't tend to do interviews of much longer than 4 or 5 minutes. Now, that affects the way that you ask the questions, of which Jane is a master. You've got to be quick, you've got to be pertinent, and you're also looking to try and elicit a response. Not every interview has to be completely combative, and particularly on a breakfast show like Sunrise. You know, unless it's a politician in front of you, generally the interviews are solid, but not brusque.
And that would get to the root of the problem rather than the symptom, which has been, in essence, social media.
And what you'll be probably hearing over my microphone here is that, technical difficulties happen. There are always issues.
Minute 30 left.
But part of the reason why I love my job so much, and I promise you'll be hearing a lot about this from me over the next kind of 4.5 hours. Part of the reason I love my job is that when things go wrong, everyone gets to it. Everyone cracks on just to make sure that the material makes its way to air. There have been days when literally everything, all of the computer systems have crashed, that we haven't been able to play out any material, where you might have noticed a few slightly furrowed brows on screen, but in terms of things going on, well, no, it's like a swan. An awful lot of effort going on underneath the surface, and quite a bit actually on the surface as well. What you're looking at the moment is the green screen part of the Sunrise studio. Our sports presenter, Jamie Weir, has thankfully today actually put decent shoes and trousers on. Sometimes you see him coming into the newsroom dressed as if you're only going to see him from the waist up. He also, of course, works in the Sky Sports News channel.
That's what I'm trying to ask, because anecdotal evidence says that if somebody has a problem, goes to their GP, asks for
Gallery Sport. Can you lose a minute, please?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Thanks. Jamie, we're just going to have to trim about a minute from your bully, so Andy's just floating stuff now. Let's leave it there now.
Symptomatic, actually, of people seeking more help, which means we want to encourage them to do. And we need to make sure that we recognise
That's fine next.
Well, as you might have heard there as well, Ashish Joshi, colleague of mine for many, many, many years, is standing ready. In fact, you just saw him. Ashish, you're going to be taking us around the newsroom, speaking to a few of the key individuals. Who have you got lined up for us at the moment, ahead of the 7:30 meeting?
We're going to be... Good morning, Neil. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be talking to a few of the people who are shaping today's news output before they head off into that 7:30 morning. Not too many years, by the way, Neil, just a few years. I think you overemphasised the many, many, many years. Let's go and talk to somebody who has been here at Sky News for a few years. I'm sure Sam won't mind me telling everyone. Hello, Sam. A veteran of Sky News, 25 years roundabout now?
It is indeed. Yeah, it's been a very, very long time. I started in the news library as a picture researcher, and I've I think, pretty much done most roles in this newsroom.
OK, you've got a really important role now. Today, you're going to be shaping the news output. What's on the agenda for this morning before you head off into that 7:30 meeting?
Well, I think obviously the France fire is very much top of the agenda, so we'll see what happens there. We've had a woman that's been arrested. We've got our piece by Alex Crawford on Syria, British fighters that are desperate to come back. But also we've got our missing student in Hull that we really need to keep a very close eye of. And of course, Sky News for All, 30 years. We've got a debate talking about fake news, how we deal with that, how we can sort of make sure we ensure trust within news organisations. So quite an action-packed agenda, really.
Well, when you get up in the morning, your day must start ridiculously early. You're tuning into the radio, you're scanning newspapers, you're on your social media feed. By the time you get to the office, has the news been more or less shaped, or are you shaping it on the hoof, as it were?
I think we do very much shape it. I mean, there are the set stories that, they will still figure very predominantly all day, but there are other little stories that I will hear on the radio, or I'll see in the newspaper, or I'll see on my app, that I think actually we could do more on that. We could have more of a discussion. Liam Neeson today has attracted a huge amount of reaction, so I think that's a story to really develop and push through the day.
OK, and do you have a mini meeting with your team before you head off into that meeting, or...?
Well, we've talked about various things, but we will go into that editorial meeting, I think, where we get much more of an idea of where we're going to sort of push on stories, and then afterwards we'll have a team meeting.
You're being called out. Yes. I've just heard that the morning meeting has started. So Sam is now going to head off across the newsroom. Thank you, Sam. And you can see her heading, and you'll see other people heading that way as well.
So this is the meeting room, the ocean room. You'll notice a few graphics around there. It's not as if we're obsessed with the seas here at Sky News. I like to think of it as the aquarium. But in essence, this is the main meeting of the morning. All parts of Sky News are going to be represented here. I'm wondering who is going to be in the chair today. I see Jonathan Levy there, so it may well be him. And there's Sam Foster wandering in as well. Now, we are trying to bring you as much of the real feel of Sky News as possible, but of course, newsrooms can be quite boisterous places. People might not be as bolshy or as sweary as they usually are.
What are we waiting for? We're just waiting for Westminster.
We've already got a spike.
Sorry?
We've already got a spike in our
Now we have
leadership there.
mic'd up a number of the key players in the newsroom, although this is basically an opportunity for anyone to raise issues or stories that they think we should be covering on the day.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Morning.
It's 7:30. This is to talk about the daytime output.
And as you can see there, there's the Millbank team headed by Dan Williams, our head of politics, just on the left of that big screen that's above Anwar's head there.
Lucy, do you want to lay out what's happening
and
today?
Jonathan Levy is heading the meeting.
Yeah, so Theresa May is off to Northern Ireland today. She'll make a speech there this afternoon where she is due to promise to find a deal with the EU that can both command a majority in the Commons while also honouring commitments to Northern Ireland and gaining sort of broad support of the community across Northern Ireland. We're expecting that this afternoon. Faisal is there and he can do lives from 12 o'clock and then around the speech as well. And we're also bidding for an interview with Arlene Foster, who, according to the DUP, May will meet tomorrow.
The voice you're hearing is Lucy Clint.
Before she goes, she'll chair Cabinet as usual, so we expect that around 9:30. We'll have arrivals and departures in the street as normal, and Tamara Cohen will do lives from Downing Street from 8 this morning. And then later on, we're also expecting another meeting of that Alternative Arrangements Working Group. So this is the group behind the Malthouse Compromise, who are working on alternatives to the backstop. So that's Nicky Morgan, who's on All Out Politics this morning, and then others like Steve Baker and Ian Duncan Smith. So once again, we'll have a sort of three-way pool in place around Downing Street and Whitehall to try and get comings and goings from that.
Okay.
And then there are just a couple of sort of other things that might be worth pursuing today. So from an interviews point of view, I think it would be worth bidding for the Brexit Select Committee, who were in Brussels yesterday. There's a report in the Times this morning that Selmayr might have been willing to offer a concession on the backstop, but that it wouldn't have been enough for the Brexiteers on that committee. So it'd be worth trying to get to them today and find out more about that meeting.
It was Andrea Jenkins was the...
Yeah, Andrea Jenkins and John Whittingdale are the two sort of Brexiteers on that committee.
Will you put in bid for the?
Jonathan Levy is the director of news gathering, which basically means he is the boss of all reporters, camera crews. He runs logistics around the world. He used, in fact, to be my boss at Westminster. Took over there, I think it was 2005, 2006, just as I was starting to report. Learned a lot from him. He's not as scary as he looks.
PLP. So last night they passed a motion calling for more details on how allegations of anti-Semitism are being tackled in the party, but some people who were there have criticised how that was responded to by the party's General Secretary. So I think it would be worth trying to get some of those people today to see what they say. So people like Margaret Hodge and Wes Streeting have commented on it.
Okay, all makes sense. Thank you, Lucy.
Can I just throw into the Brexit mix that Simon Coveney is in the States today? The evidence is chasing him for an interview. It's probably a piece for later, but if we can get a clip in or a slamming beforehand.
I can add something to that, which is that it's now thought that he may be going to Brussels first, and he's not getting to New York until very late tonight. And therefore Blevins thinks his access to Coveney is not going to be until he's in DC on Wednesday.
This is Peter Lowe, who's our head of Home News. As part of the preparations for today, we were all asked to put together a little bit of information about ourselves. Peter revealed to me, despite the fact I've known him since I started at Sky, something I didn't know, that his middle name is Dan.
The other thing to mention to
But as head of Home News,
David Trimble is in London somewhere doing interviews about his legal fight in the courts about the withdrawal agreement, which is more grist to the mill about the concerns about the peace agreement that we got from Mitchell yesterday.
Okay. Who's looking after AOP?
I can go through the list. So, as Lucy said, we've got Nicky Morgan at the top. But we've also got other various elements marking Sky News' 30th anniversary. So we're looking at reinstating trust in the media. What's the future of news? We've got Harriet Harman, who was one of our first ever guests on Sky News. And actually, a little bit of satire at the end. We've got the Margaret Thatcher puppet, which was on Spitting Image, which is being auctioned. So we've got that coming in. So we have Margaret Thatcher sort of making an appearance. So we're going to talk a bit about satire and is it dead?
Okay, very good. I saw on the day sheet a Faisal VT to run in AOP.
That's right, which is
what's that about?
Out. That's very much about the Irish backstop and the sort of issues surrounding it.
So it's about growing concerns sort of across government that the Irish lobby in the US Congress would side with Dublin in any sort of backstop dispute and what impact that could have on a US-UK trade deal.
Okay, very good.
Can I just ask a quick question, Lucy, on the PM speech later on? Are we expecting a Q&A after it, and will Faisal be around after that?
Yeah, we are expecting Q&A. Faisal will be around. There are some pool commitments as well that we'll work around, but he should be expected to do some lives around it.
Okay, we're sending Stephen Murphy also to Belfast to provide.
If we want Stephen Murphy, we can.
I think we should, because we're going to be.
Yeah, the only thing about Murphy though is that if Theresa May says things to which we might expect some Irish response, but I don't know whether Coveney is in Dublin right now. Certainly Stephen is. I mean, we can move him.
We're very dependent on Faisal to do the speech, gather, and carry the live burden this afternoon.
That'll leave us a bit thin.
Yeah. So I think given that Blevins is in the States, we're going to need to move Murphy in all likelihood.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Okay. Anwar,
yeah,
digital-wise?
Yeah, we'll probably we will live blog the speech for however long it lasts and take the Q&A. But this morning we're kind of kicking off a couple of lines coming from Merkel, as well as kind of watching all the cabinet movements this morning. Yeah, so it'd be mostly live blog and a news lead afterwards. And also with Faisal looking for some analysis end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah, he can do end of day analysis, and if you want snap analysis after the speech, we'll ask someone here to do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and the Merkel lines feed into what Lucy's talking about, the Brexit committee yesterday as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Okay.
Any other thoughts on the politics for today?
No, we'll dig out the backstop explainer.
Good idea.
That we've got. We've been working on a Malthouse explainer, which might not be in the day for it today, but we'll make sure that's good to go.
The backstop explainer, definitely. Okay. Andy, should we talk about just Paris overnight, because it's a developing story?
It's
quite
is
straightforward in coverage terms.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's a straightforward. Well, I say tragedy, but it seems it's a criminal act. There's 8 people dead, around 30 injured, and there's a woman in custody, and it's now being investigated as a criminal act. I think really it depends on what the motivation is behind that criminal act as to whether it sort of goes beyond a straightforward sort of up and down story. So Isney is doing lives on it. He has done a sort of is in a voiceover wrap of the pictures. What we're waiting for really is sort of comment. I'm hoping that the lines from the prosecutor that have dropped on wires will emerge were on camera and will emerge through the agencies. And if it gets to the point where we think we need to go further on it, then we can deploy Brussels down to it. But I think at the moment it feels like being wrapped in-house here is sufficient.
Okay. And we'll cover it on digital, Anwar. Make the most of the picture that started coming in the last few hours.
Yeah, picture's really good.
Yeah, picture.
So,
yeah, it's great.
The picture's good, yeah. And the suggestion number of people killed might go up as well because they're searching apartments.
So we might need someone later on. Obviously, Imsy is the early reporter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Depending on what else comes out later on this afternoon, we might need someone else to take that on.
Yeah, see where we are at lunchtime and sort of shift accordingly.
Okay. Can we talk about Liam Neeson, which I know happened yesterday, but it's gathered some steam this morning.
Yeah, it's quite an extraordinary interview that the
actor has given to the Independent. It's not just one that's been published sort of in online and on in the paper, but it's also there's audio of it as well, in which he talks about. It feels very much like a confession, actually, in which he talks about how he was told of a close friend had been raped, and he asked the friend what colour was that person. They replied black, and he then admits to arming himself with a kosh and saying that he hoped he'd come across a black man and kill him. So I mean, it's quite extraordinary. And as I say, we've got the audio. So we're hoping to run a little clip of that with a credit to the Indie, and we'll think about probably doing lives on it during the day.
We'll have to
and put in bids, obviously, to see if we can speak to him.
Discuss whether we run the audio as it is, or whether we cover up the offending parts of it.
Yeah, let's have a listen and,
Yeah.
and decide.
It's quite a stark
I mean, what's extraordinary about it is he presumably did loads of different interviews promoting the same new film, because that tends to be what happens.
Yeah.
And he just chose one moment to say this.
Yeah, as I say, it feels like this was something that he clearly has never talked about before, and almost as if he wanted to get it off his chest.
Yeah.
Who's going to talk about it?
So I think Lucy's around.
Lucy's about it. Obviously, it's a hard story, but that shouldn't necessarily.
I think it's really about him and his reputation, isn't it? Isn't that?
Yes. From my understanding of the interview, it's an extended, where he says this is an extended bit talking about like the pathology of vengeance.
Yes, revenge.
In which he talks about troubles and stuff, and in which he's being, self-critical. So I can see how maybe in this interview, unlike the others, it would have come through.
Can Lucy get in touch with his agent or publicist?
Yeah.
He may apologise today.
There's been no official comment on.
None at all.
We have reached out to his US agents overnight, but there's been no response yet from them.
TV-wise, Francesca, you happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. That's right.
Yeah. And why you've already got a story out.
Yeah, we've written it up. Obviously, we'll look to move it on as and when.
And take whatever we do with the video or
The
audio, really.
The audio, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Paul, do you want to run through other home news?
So we start with Libby Squire, who is the student from Hull who's still missing. There was quite a, I suppose, a development in terms of pleas yesterday from her parents. It was a very much a controlled statement filmed by the police asking for information. Then afterwards there was a police presser. So we're back today just to see where this may take us. There was quite a lot of searching going on in water nearby and just door-to-doors, checking, drains, etc. And there is a report in some of the newspapers, or in one of the newspapers last night, about a neighbour apparently hearing a scream at the time of her disappearance. So Sally Lockwood is there and live from 8. And then we'll just see where it takes us today.
See if there are any developments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know if the police are planning on doing any updates?
At the moment we don't, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Other home news?
Other things, just a note that we are, after a couple of good days in Guernsey, heading out of there this morning. So that for us, for the moment, is we draw a line initially, but we'll keep an eye on it, of course. There's a story this morning about paedophile hunters, which overnight 5 people were arrested in Leeds by West Yorkshire police, who subsequently released all 5 on bail, but used the arrests on suspicion of falsely imprisoning people as a chance to sort of reiterate the need for people to not act as self-styled vigilantes, but actually to contact the police rather than take matters in their own hands. I know that Mark White's done quite a lot on this in the past.
Big story on it last year.
Yeah. So we can certainly talk to Mark this morning, David.
Certainly, yes. I mean, the only thing I would say is that this particular incident sounds like it's the kind of thing that does happen from time to time, all the time.
Are they saying that these arrests were made as a result of an operation by hunters? Or,
yeah, well, it seems that there were a number of cases, and in this particular case, the accusation is that people were falsely imprisoned or wrongly imprisoned.
Yeah, we've written it up online, by the way. So.
Yeah.
Maybe worth
a little more digging.
Well, also on digital, pulling out the stuff that Mark did last year. So it was quite extraordinary. Characters that he came across.
Yeah. Did the police ever, because obviously the police kind of look both ways on this. In some cases, it's helpful to them.
Yeah.
In other, but at the same time, they have a message that you shouldn't do it. Did they ever come up with a national strategy?
Well, they act upon evidence. They actually never did come up with a national strategy, which is part of what you're saying. They do look both ways in it. Many successful prosecutions emerge out of evidence gathered of paedophile hunters. But in this case, it sounds like they're actually accused of falsely imprisoning somebody. So that's over and above the gathering of evidence. So I don't think that we can necessarily say that the police's response to this case is any kind of change on what they would say about paedophile hunters generally.
It's just a strengthening of that reminder that people shouldn't take matters in their own hands.
Because most paedophile hunters wouldn't do that. They wouldn't sort of imprison somebody. They collect evidence and then do a sting, plaster it up on YouTube or somewhere.
I think we need to hear what Mark's got to say about it.
Okay.
Can I just go back to Guernsey? Sorry.
Yes.
It's obviously a story that's been resonating really well on mobile. And so from pulling out, what's the mechanisms for updates on the...
We're in touch with all the relevant people that will effectively let us know if there's a move. I know the search vessel that has been used, and the one that was actually the one that identified where the aeroplane was, is heading back to the UK today. So we're in touch with rescuers, we're in touch with agents.
Okay.
So if there's a slight development on that in terms of wreckage, in terms of other pictures, then we'll be on top of it.
Okay. It's difficult to determine how long it's going to take to raise it, and then it doesn't. I don't think it goes to Guernsey. I think it goes to Ostend.
Okay. I'm not questioning the decision to pull out, just to make sure that we don't miss anything subsequently.
Any other home news stuff, Paul?
Couple of things very quickly. Carers. We're not doing a lot of this at the moment, but we could do. Some stark figures have been released by Carers UK. 1 in 7 juggling the day job and caring for elderly, disabled or sick relatives. And there's a figure that says 600 people a day are leaving jobs to care for people. It's quite a lot. And they're calling for the government to introduce statutory care leave. So it certainly could be something that we could guest during the day.
Yeah, definitely.
We're writing that up for.
And a couple of notes, if I can, on court cases very briefly that we will be covering today, or certainly keeping an eye across the Hatton Garden Basel trial. That Adele Robinson is at Woolwich Crown Court. The prosecution began outlining its case yesterday, so we'll be there again today. Yesterday was very much kind of a bit of a history lesson about what happened way back. Hillsborough continues, of course, we'll keep an eye on that today. And there is a trial out in the west of England that Dan Whitehead is across as well. Concerning accusations around drug smuggling.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
On Hatton Garden, is Adele, can you ask her to file a copy for us?
Yeah. Do you want that as a rolling copy, or do
no,
you want
I think
live
maybe later, at the end of the day.
End of day. Yeah.
Andy, foreign-wise, there's quite a bit going on, although a bit later on, really, on the whole.
A lot of it is geared towards a little bit later, Venezuela, there's still sort of quite a lot of moving parts to it, not just to the story, but to our deployment as well over the next couple of days. The Lima Group meeting in Canada yesterday echoed sort of calls from the EU for the military to recognise Guaido as the interim president. I'm hoping that we'll get some picture maybe of this sort of aid contingent being prepped today, which is due to arrive tomorrow. Dominic will be in late morning and can pick that up with studio chat. Stuart will be out and about, gathering what he can, working towards a VT, probably for 10. So it's certainly in terms of daytime coverage, it's Dominic who will be reliant on.
It's worth talking to him, I think.
Yeah.
Maduro's done a couple of interviews the last couple of days. And there's something out of Ottawa yesterday, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. That's the Lima group.
Yeah, exactly.
With this, which is the grouping of South American countries.
Yeah,
Okay.
the pressure's building on him, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going away. It's sort of like ebbs and flows a little bit, but it's not going away as a story, certainly. You know, and then it'll pick up again with this aid deployment, which we think will arrive tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
Can I just mention the Crawford piece, which I know ran yesterday, but just so people are aware, in terms of the duration, there are 3 versions. So there's a shorter version running in Sunrise at just under 3 minutes, but there is also a 4.5 minute, which has got it goes into a lot more depth and context with the interviewees. So if there's space for it, that'd be great to get that out.
Very powerful
post Sunrise. Yeah. I mean, again, it's fascinating talking and hearing from what to you and me are sort of everyday people who you'd meet in the street here. Later on, Cordelia is interviewing Raj Shah, who was Deputy Press Secretary from the White House. Is going to talk about the sort of the relationship the White House has with the media, which hopefully will be a slab for 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I've been in contact with Emily Purser. They're going to aim it for 5:30 for us.
Yeah, 5:30. Yeah, and then also in the States we've got the State of the Union, which happens overnight our time tonight. If there are lines to talk about, then we've only got Cordy in DC, but Hannah should be available in New York. So we'll just need to sort of flip-flop as to who talks at what time, if you like.
We've got some guests lined up for the 6 on that as well, but I just need to check studios
Great.
with you. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where. And I just wanted to mention the John Oliver interview as well, which Hannah did last night, and there's some quite good stuff about sort of the rigours of news gathering, and there are some of the more sort of entertaining excerpts which probably need a little bit of editing.
Last time she interviewed did fantastic business on YouTube. I mean, that was one of our most watched.
Was it?
On YouTube, where I took the head,
Yeah.
so we'll cut it long again.
Yeah.
And we'll
Cut Oliver long.
Yeah.
Strong views.
Okay.
Pope in the UAE is quite a big deal. We should not let that go.
Yeah, day 3. I mean,
Yeah.
day. Well, I think it's day 2 of activities, isn't it? Sort of he arrived.
Well, he's holding a mass in the site of the Great Mosque in Abu Dhabi, which is quite a big deal.
There'll
I
be
would say.
pictures today, won't there?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are pictures already.
Yeah.
The match has been coming in live. I thought it was in a sports stadium.
It's a sports stadium, but you can see the,
He went to the mosque yesterday.
We did some guests on it yesterday, but it's certainly worth marking when we see the picture today.
Yeah. Anything else that anybody that we should be talking to, bidding
I
for?
was going to suggest the Warwick University story, which has been around for a few days. There was some male students who were banned for up to 10 years for being part of a WhatsApp group that talked about raping other students. And then they appealed and they were going to come back after a year's ban. And then there's been quite an outcry about that from female students on campus. And now, overnight, the Vice-Chancellor says those 2 male students won't be coming back, and it's been quite widely covered, but not the fact that they're now not coming back. It might be something we should try and get into today.
Yeah. On the university side, I think I can check that out for sure.
You say it's been running for a couple of days, but overnight you think it's moved?
Longer than that.
It's definitely been overnight.
Okay.
On the university side of things, I was quite interested in the David Harding, the self-made billionaire who's given £100 million to Cambridge. Obviously, Oxbridge generally has been criticised over recent sort of months, recent years really, about diversity, and this partly has been made to tackle that issue, but also the postgrad side, so underprivileged and diversity within at Cambridge specifically in this case. It's his alma mater.
He'd be a good live interview today.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he? It's a hell of a lot of money, and the lack of diversity at Oxford and Cambridge is.
Yeah.
20 million for debt-free degrees.
Yeah.
How many does that buy you?
Get your calculators out. And last thing from me.
Sorry, so who's going to chase him?
We can chase that. We can put a bid in.
Okay.
And try and find out how to get hold of him. I wonder whether he's also accessible via business, but.
Or someone from Cambridge.
And last but not least, a couple of royal mentions. Couldn't leave without that. The Duchess of Cambridge is out today visiting a couple of schools, all to do with mental well-being, and Charles and Camilla are at the Supreme Court marking the 10th anniversary, so pictures there.
Okay. Michael, who's on Ian King?
Some good guests. We've got Sir George Buckley, who's the chairman of both Smiths and Stanley Black & Decker, and the MD of Bacardi UK. And we'll probably have a look at HMV, which is just breaking this morning, is being bought by a Canadian company, Sunrise Records. So they're saving 100 stores, but 27 will still close, so it's about 450 jobs. If you're interested in Ian on that,
Kind
let
of
me know.
slow death of HMV, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about it though is it's Mike Ashley has lost out for once because he was obviously interested in the HMV, but wanted rent holidays for 6 months, so obviously didn't get it this time.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.
And that was the morning meeting. If you wanted to have a way of seeing just how collegiate an organisation Sky News is, I mean, that's a pretty good example. Input, output, digital, on-screen, all coming together. It's as much about finding out what the news actually is that day. That's why you had that brief by both foreign and home desks. But also other contributions were invited. You know, there were stories coming from Peter Diapre, someone I've known for a long, long time here at Sky News. But as well as finding out what the news is and prioritising that news, it's also a meeting that sets how we cover the news. Now, that doesn't just refer to digital, that doesn't just refer to television, it also refers to radio as well. And in a moment or two, we will be, and there he is, we will be able to speak to Ashish Joshi, who's going to bring us up to date with just, I mean, Sky News Radio, it's a central part of what we do here now, Ashish.
Yeah, it's a huge part of what we do here, and perhaps people don't completely realise just how big the radio operation at Sky is. When you think of Sky, you think Sky TV, you think online, digital, but in fact there are millions and millions, and Dave Terrace, the radio editor, will tell us exactly how many numbers are involved. Sky News Radio, huge operation. Just what are the numbers? Give us the overview.
So Sky News Radio caters for commercial radio, so there are about 300 radio stations in the UK, and the last audience figures are available suggest that nearly 36 million people listen to commercial radio. The nation really loves radio, so our job is to provide national and international news to all those commercial radio stations for them to be able to complement their own local news gathering. So what we do here, we use the might of the Sky News news gathering operation, and we convert that into radio material. So we write radio scripts, we take radio clips designed for bulletins, and we also do an on-the-hour, top-of-the-hour bulletin, which is exactly 2 minutes. Every station has the option to opt into that, but most will opt in out of hours, so evenings and weekends when stations aren't staffed. Some stations do staff 24 hours, others don't. So during the day, stations will use us primarily as a news resource, but in the evenings and overnights and weekends, they'll use us for the bulletins as well.
And there are all the new digital demands as well. People might be listening on their smart devices.
That's right. You can ask all the smart speakers, Alexa, Amazon Alexa, Google Home for the latest news from Sky News, and what will come up is the latest bulletin that we produced at the top of the hour, which is exactly 2 minutes.
Okay. Do your clients tell you what they want to serve their audiences, or do you tell them that this is what's happening today and this is what we'll be providing?
I think it's a bit of both, actually. So we're instinctively focused on stories which will cater for commercial radio. So we'll have a discussion about that. Charlie, who's just got in, will do a random ring around in a moment to talk to some of the stations about what they're liking, and then we'll base some of our news gathering on that. But we tend to have a good feel for what commercial radio stations.
Dave, I've got to leave you because I'm going to join one of your radio reporters, Laura, who is preparing to put a bulletin together, so hopefully we can walk across the newsroom floor. This is Paul Harrison on the home desk. You saw him earlier in that meeting. The reason I'm trying to hurry is because I've got to get to that radio studio before. Leela, if you can get the doors open. This is Leela. She's an output producer. She's helping me today. So we're going to walk in and hopefully Laura will be about to go on air. Hi, Laura. This is Laura. She's about...
This is IRN and Sky News Radio.